hold on to your vinyl. It's Prog Hat.
Hello, everybody. Welcome again. Thanks for stopping by and clicking on this video. I'm going to get right into it. I got a couple of CDs that I'm glad to have these records on compact disc, because it seems like when I find them on the vinyl, they're in rough shape, and even like on side one, side two, they're really scuffed and they skip. And so I set of going the CD route. One of my favorite periods of the Rolling Stones, though, is from 71 through 82. So let me begin there. I picked up Emotional Rescue, which came out in 1980. I really do love this album a lot from beginning to end, especially the Keith Richards tracks. For example, All About You with that saxophone, I like that. And some of the songs have a little bit of a punk edge, a little punk rock a little bit. And of course they do something, the Stones on this album, like with Dance Part 1. That's just totally different. Good little dance, good track, a good track with that starts off the record. And Where the Boys Go, I like that. The other one is their album from, let's see here, I wrote it down, 1974. It's Only Rock and Roll. I always find this not in the best shape vinyl wise, so I settled for the CD. Love this album. I love the guitar work that Mick Taylor does on this record, especially To the Next Time, To the Next Goodbye, and Time Waits for No One. So glad to have it, a version where there's no skipping. That's one of the cool things about CDs. So I do have about 4 used record pickups, cheap. I think one I spent the most on it was $4.99 plus tax. It's not in bad shape. It's a playable copy. I'm happy to finally have it, so it'll come up towards the end of this video. Let me just go on a little, if you want to say my take on cheap records. I know there's folks that say, it's about the quality, not the quantity. Well, I'm not that kind of shopper either. I mean, I don't mind looking through the clearance bins, finding some really good records for $1. Sometimes I'm looking for album covers to records that I have in really good shape, but I don't have an album cover to it. Like The Doors, Waiting for the Sun. I have a real good, nice copy of it, but I don't have the album cover. So that's one reason why I look through the cheap records. And you just never know what you could find. Sometimes you find some pretty solid stuff, and a lot of times some of the things that I find, I scratch my head and go, this is $1? Hey, that's my deal of the day. So it doesn't hurt to look in cheap bins. I do inspect the records for scratches, how it looks at the beginning of side 1 and side 2. Just get an idea how bad it is. Is it a copy that I will go ahead and accept? I also don't want a moldy smelling record, so I pass on those. And if it's warped, even though it's $1, I don't really want a warped record. A lot of times it affects the sound. To me, it does. And so those are the things that I look for. How bad is the scratch? Sometimes I take a little flashlight with me, and sometimes I don't. Because sometimes the lighting in stores, thrift stores, and even outdoor flea markets can kind of fool me, and I go, oh shoot, it's worse than I thought. That's happened too. One thing about flea markets, I do like looking for cheap records there as well, but I stay away from the tents or the ones where the records have been in the sunlight all day. I won't even bother to look at those because the chances are I'm going to come home with some Warp records. Or I'll get a Cheap Trick album, not really look at it, and then I have Conway Twitty's 20 Greatest Hits. That's happened too. And surface noise, I've picked up some records that had some really bad surface noise, like that self-titled Genesis album that had Mama and Shape of All or something like that, that real poppy hit. And it just had real bad surface noise, so that was a disappointment. And I'm not worried about a lot of times if they don't have inner sleeves. A lot of records I found don't have inner sleeves, so I do have some paper ones and, you know, those clear see-through ones. And like I mentioned, I don't mind looking at flea markets and thrift stores. So, okay, let's get into my 4 cheap vinyl pickups. This was $1. It's Joni Mitchell's her debut album, Song to a Seagull, man, I can't talk for some reason. 1968. It's a real nice gatefold. The record is on Reprise, and the gatefold is pretty nice inside. No issues there. The record does have a little crackling going on, but I don't mind. This album is a really good folk album. The producer was David Crosby, and it was recorded in Sunset, California. And what I read about it, that during this session, somehow it captured some ambient sound or noise or tape hiss, so they still went with it. Now I do have the vinyl box that came out a few years ago with a different mix of that album, so I'm gonna like to try to compare them and see, you know, what the really big difference is. Next, this was $1 plus tax. Joni Mitchell. I used to have this on CD, I think. Shadows and Light. It's a double live album. It's got the ring wear action on both sides. Not a problem there. Gatefold. I believe Jaco Pastorius plays bass on this album. This album came out in 1980. It's her second live album. It's jazz, fusion, and folk jazz. Recorded at the Santa Barbara Bowl, from what I understand. Really good live record. I like that. I like the energy in that album. It's really, really good. Next, another $1 find. I was happy to find this because I'm a fan of this group. And that's the Modern Jazz Quartet. Now, I know they made 2 records with the Apple Records label, and I would like to have those. But, yeah, this is their album, Pyramid, which the performances are from 1959 to 60. It's a fresh-sounding jazz album. I got it really good cleaned, that deep cleaning from a degrader machine. But they do Danjo, which I like that, and the Duke Ellington tune, It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing. A really, really good, solid jazz album. I look forward to getting some more of their albums. Like, I'd like to get also the album Danjo, but I don't know how pricey that would be because, you know, I'd like to get somewhat of a early pressing of that. Now my last record here is $4.99 plus tax. I finally got it, and I've been getting a lot of my Cream albums and used, and I need one more. I need 2 more. Fresh Cream and Goodbye. But I finally found a nice, and it's foil, that foil look, Cream Wheels of Fire double live album. A tough album to find in good condition. Sometimes the cover is ripped off. I've seen where all this is torn off and someone handwritten Cream Wheels of Fire. Love that psychedelic inside. Lot of great tunes on this. White Room, Sitting on Top of the World, Politician, Those Were the Days, Born Under a Bad Sign, Crossroads, Spoonful. I don't even know why I'm reading this. I'm sure a lot of folks are very familiar with this album. Album came out the year I was born, 1968. Recorded Winterland, the Fillmore, California. Great hard rock, psychedelic, blues, as well as what they call photo metal, or like early metal. But really a good record, and if you're a Cream fan, it is a must-have for the collection. Alright folks, thanks for tuning into this video. Please like and subscribe. Drop me a comment. I'll see you real soon. Take care.